I've got biscuits. And I gave you paws. I've got biscuits here. Look up. Oh, careful. Gonna lay down there then? Or sit? Sit down then. Hi guys, welcome back. I don't know how long he's gonna stay in here with me. It is quite warm and the temperature's going up. Got windows open and the door's open, so there's a breeze. Okay, so you probably know by the title and the previous video that he has had some allergy tests. I've got a list of the tests that we did. Came to over £700, all of these tests, to try and get to the bottom of his allergies. Let's give you a biscuit. There you go. So we did a zinc test to see whether he had a zinc deficiency. He doesn't. We did a malassezia test, which is, I believe, a yeast allergy. So they can produce an excess of yeast in their coat, in their skin, and then they can also be allergic to it. Key is not. So Key is not, does not have malassezia. He's gone. That didn't last very long, did it? There's something outside the front door that he could smell earlier that he's very interested in and keeps going back there because he wants to go out. Did a pet screen, and that's all it says on here, and I don't remember what that was exactly. And we've done a My Pet Allergy Emerald 8-panel profile. So that's the big one. That's the most expensive one. I will include some clips from our trip to the vet, which was about 5 weeks ago now. It took quite a while to get the results back. I think they had to be sent to America, and we only just got them 2 days ago.
This just sticks to itself, so it can come off after about half an hour.
Okay. Make sure you like him. You're a good boy. I'm so proud of you. He's not really had these allergies for that long. It's mostly been for like last year and the year before, and it started with just itching and then licking, and then he ended up getting pore infections. So he had 3 pore infections. I think 2 of them were in one paw and the other one might have been in the other paw. And he had an ear infection. It's all related to allergies. Good boy. He ended up on antibiotics with pain medication as well, and Apoquel, which is an anti-itch drug. When I went to collect the tablets for his latest dosage of Apoquel, it cost over £200 for this box of tablets that he has to take 1 a day of. And I spoke to the vet there, and he was writing out the prescription, and he suggested Cytopoint, which is an injection, which is slightly safer than Apoquel. But he also suggested the blood work and getting tests done to try and potentially make an I don't know the term, it's like an antivirus, anti-allergy thing. If I work out what it's called, I'll write it up on the screen. But it basically means they take the allergies that the dog is reacting to, and they make a drug that is injected that makes them not react to it. Unfortunately, Key is allergic to 16 different things, which means that the vaccine type thing would cost quite a bit because it's got to work against 16 different things rather than just a couple. So yeah, he's unfortunately he's allergic to a lot of things, and I will let you know what those are in case you didn't watch the video where I told him everything he's allergic to, and he wasn't too happy about it. So he's allergic to 2 types of grass, which is probably the most annoying thing because he loves grass and there's no way that I could stop him from going onto grass. He would just have a miserable life if he couldn't roll around in grass and run and sniff and dig and things. So I don't know what these particular grasses look like and if they are regulars that we see, but there's perennial rye and meadow fescue. They're probably quite common grasses. But there's nothing we can really do about that, unfortunately. I'm so hot. There's two different types of weed. There's an artup and an artuck. So the artup, the artup weed that he's allergic to is dock or sorrel. It seems that that's the same weed, different name. And then the artuck weeds he's allergic to is dandelion and ragweed. So dandelions are everywhere. Ragweed tends to be more in the overgrown areas, so not where we walk exactly. But dandelions, they're in the garden, they're in the field. I can get rid of the ones in the garden, but I can't get rid of the ones in the field because it doesn't belong to us. Another reason why I need my own land, then I can clear it of as much allergens as I possibly can. I would remove all the dandelions, even if it took me ages. He's allergic to 4 different trees, which is, yeah, a pain. Beech, olive, privet. So I don't know if that's an olive tree, because we've got an olive tree in the garden. Not that he really goes near it. Oh dear. And then ash and birch as well. Again, I don't really recognise what trees are what, so I couldn't say which trees are where we walk. He's allergic to one type of mould called Alternaria, and I don't know where that occurs, what that mould grows on, but just keeping everything clean like we do to avoid that. He's also allergic to 3 types of dust mites, or storage mites, and I can't really pronounce them very well. I'll give it a go though. There's Farinae, Petricentae, Lepidoglyphus, something like that. So I was very rudely interrupted by my camera running out of storage, and now I have no idea where I got to. He's also allergic to 2 types of insect. Housefly, which unfortunately are quite common here, and although he's not very good at it, he does try to catch them. I don't think he's ever actually caught one, but he does give it a try. And then the other insect is cockroaches, which luckily we don't see in the wild here. I don't even know where you would see cockroaches, maybe in the zoo in the UK. We definitely don't have them as a wild animal here that I'm aware of. And then the last thing he's allergic to is water, and we don't go up to horses. There are horses in the field next to the field that we rent, but I wouldn't say that we're close enough that horsehair would get to him. Yeah, that's his long list of environmental allergens that he has. The test unfortunately doesn't test for food allergies. There is a test that you can do for food allergy that would be more reliable, but it involves shaving. It's a skin prick test. I'm sure it's probably got a more complicated name, but it basically means you shave a big patch of fluff and then you put dabs of different allergies on the skin to see what reacts, basically. And I really don't want to shave Key. I know it could help, but when his fur grows back in from a shave spot, he gets very itchy with it, which is what we're trying to avoid. And then he gets very licky, and then he can rub his skin raw, licking at the itchy bits. I have done a food elimination diet before, when he was on his raw. So he'd have novel proteins, so proteins that he wouldn't normally have and hadn't ever had before. And we did this for 2 months. He was on the more novels that I could get, because with the raw diet I've always tried to give him as much variety as possible, which is kind of causing me a problem with doing an elimination diet because he's already had so many different proteins. So I was using duck, I think, and goat. So long ago. It feels so long ago. It was only last year. But yeah, so I used those meats. I wasn't really seeing any difference. Then I tried him on a dehydrated raw, and I used whitefish because that's quite a bland. There's not many ingredients in it, so it's good for testing for allergies. And the only treats he could have were ostrich, which he'd never had before, goat, and kangaroo, which is a novel protein. And he was still getting itchy. Still same thing, because we took him off of Apoquel, which is a itch suppressant drug to test the foods, and he was still having these reactions. So basically I knew that there was something other than food. He could still be allergic to some food. I know he's intolerant to grain. How do I put this not too grossly? He has a runny bum if he has grain, so he can't have grain. Rules out quite a lot of treats, rules out quite a lot of foods, dog foods, dry food, and it explains why why he had such bad toileting when he was a puppy. Up to about a year old I was trying so many different dry food to find one that actually stayed in him, and I think he would actually be a larger dog now if I'd found the right food for him sooner, because he wasn't getting as much nutrients from it because it was just coming straight back out again. And it wasn't until about a year old that I discovered the raw diet, and when I put him onto raw, everything changed. His bowels were back to being what they should be and doing solid poops at last. And yeah, the raw diet is just the only thing that's really worked for him. And I'd since then tried other foods, just because raw can be a little bit inconvenient because you need a big freezer full. It doesn't really make travelling very easy, so if you're staying away you have to take lumps of frozen meat with you, which I have done when we've been away. I've taken blocks of his raw frozen food and put it in the freezer of the place we're staying in. But then the dehydrated raw is very good now. The recipe before didn't agree with him, so I went off it for a long time, but they've changed the recipe a couple of times since, and now it actually does agree with him. It's not as solid in the pooping, but it's as it is in raw, but it's a lot better than it was, to the point where it's good. It's a gross topic, but if you have a dog with allergies you can understand the frustration of having a dog going through the itching, the upset stomach. That's a better way of putting it. Currently he's on dehydrated raw, and the two recipes he's having is a salmon one. So salmon oil is very good for the coat and for itching. He's always had salmon oil since he was a year old. I've been adding it to his food. And the other recipe, he was getting a duck recipe, but they've now changed that, and it's now lamb, which he hasn't had it yet, so I don't know what he's going to be like on it. But you basically put in your details, the details of your dog, their allergies and intolerances and things, and then it brings up the options that are suitable for that dog. And before the options were whitefish, and then it changed to salmon and duck, and now it's changed, because they've changed the recipe again, to salmon and lamb. So he's got those, and the salmon has big chunks of strawberry in. He used to love strawberry as a puppy, but if I offered him one now out of my hand, he wouldn't take it. But he eats it in that food, so it's fine. I know there's no cohesion to this video. I don't know what I'm talking about half the time. He's intolerant to grain. He is potentially not good with chicken. The poultry tends to be one of the main things that dogs become allergic to, because it's in everything. It's something that they have a lot in treats and dog food. So I don't give him chicken, and I don't give him grain. So what I'm going to do to try and help him with his allergies, at the moment I'm not going to go down the route of the anti-itchy allergy thing, that thing that I don't know the name of. Then there's the option of the Cytopoint, which is the other injection, which is not a specific allergy directed drug. It literally just does what the Apoquel does, but slightly less side effects potentially. The reason we're doing the Apoquel was that was what we were told to use by the vet originally, a different vet, and it's an easy thing. It's a tablet. I stick one tablet inside a pill pocket every night, and that does the job. The Cytopoint means that he'll need a monthly injection, so it means a trip to the vet. The vet did say that he could show me how to do it, but I don't think I could do it. I can't see myself wanting to stick a needle in him. I don't think I could do it. So then the other option is the specialised allergy vaccine. I just want to call it an allergy vaccine. That's the most potentially the most expensive. I'd imagine Cytopoint is the cheapest. Obviously, cost doesn't mean anything to me. I want him to be happy and comfortable with whatever I can do. So that's why I'm going to start with something that's less medicated. So I've ordered some itchy supplements which are all natural. I've started to reduce his Apoquel, so he's having 1 less pill a week. So he's only getting 6 pills a week. And he is a little bit itchy, and he has a little bit of dermatitis on his nose. So keeping everything as it is the same at the moment, I'm going to start giving him these supplements, and I think he needs about 3 of these, they're like treats a day, and we'll see if the dermatitis gets better, if his itching reduces. It's not a huge amount of itching, and it's not to the point where he's licking where he could cause an infection. So we can use that as a marker to see whether he's improving or not with these supplements, because that would be the most ideal, is going down the all natural route if we can. I also I spent too much money on a air purifying, humidifying, cooling fan for the living room, which is where he spends most of the time. It purifies the air. It removes like 99% of dust mites and pathogens and things that are in the air, so it will help with dust mites and things, make the air a bit clearer. And the humidity is meant to be good as well for people with hay fever, and he has hay fever, a little man. He doesn't sneeze, but he gets a cough with the grass pollen, and it's not so bad now, so I think the grass pollen has died down. I'm using a damp towel on his coat to wipe off any pollen when he comes in from outside. When you're dealing with allergies, you want to try and do one thing at a time, because otherwise it's hard to know which thing is actually having an effect. So I'm going to start with the supplements and see if there's an improvement. I've tried a supplement that had quercetin in, but that's something that you're not actually supposed to use long term. There needs to be a gap in there, and I didn't see any difference with him, so I stopped using that one. If after a month or maybe 2 months and there's no change in his itching and the rash on his nose, then we're on to the next step, which I'm not sure what that is yet. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. I know it wasn't too exciting, but it might be helpful if you've got a dog with allergies. The testing is expensive, but it could be worth trying just so you know what you're dealing with and can make steps to avoid those allergies if you can at all. It's definitely going to be difficult trying to avoid them with Key, and things like dust mites, you just can't see them. You don't know where they are, you don't know if you've got rid of them all. Oh, why does he have to be allergic to so many things? I knew when we did the test that he was going to have more than 1 allergy on there. I just knew it. But 16... So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped you a little bit with your dog's allergies if you've got an allergic dog. And like the video if you do, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I'll see you in the next one.